It's incredibly picturesque, the way her hair framed her face in the morning sunlight. The curtain flapped as wind blew in from outside, and birds sang a harmonious tune as I brushed the hair out of her face. Even having just woken up, she was stunning. Time ticked to a crawl as a smile began to shine upon her lips. I started to reach towards her, but then I saw something. It was just behind the curtain, impossibly still. It cast a large, circular shadow through the thin fabric. I felt it was inches from the glass, its shadow nearly blotting out the sun. The wind began to push the curtain again, and the thing outside inched into view. I bolted upright in my bed, a pulsating pain resonating from the back of my skull. My eyes shot over to the window. The curtain was still, a dim yellow light seeping through its seams. Groaning, I snatched the bottle of ibuprofen off my nightstand, pushing empty cans out of the way in the process. I shook 2 of the pills onto my palm, downing them as I pulled myself off my bed. I trudged towards the window, pushing the dirty clothes that littered the floor aside with my foot. With my index finger, I moved the curtain to the side as sunlight began to spill into the room. My eyes strained as they adjusted to the harsh light. The dull gray blocks of the city outline pushed against the morning sun, cradling it against their harsh edges. I scanned my eyes across the parking lot in front of the apartment complex, and then I saw her. There she was, in all her ethereal beauty. Mia Costello, the woman of my dreams, was getting in her car as she headed to her morning shift. My heartbeat quickened as she began to drive away. Mia was an internet micro-celebrity who lived in my apartment building, just a few doors down from mine. She was also the love of my life. All her fans adored Mia, but none of them knew her as I did. I lived near her, and I could exist in her world. The first time we spoke, she picked up a piece of mail I had dropped. When she handed it to me, I saw her beauty for the first time. For the first time in years, my life had meaning. There was something about the way she smiled at me. When she handed me the letter I had dropped, her fingertip brushed against my hand. That little touch sent sparks throughout my whole body. Ever since that moment, we have shared something truly special. Sometimes, I would wait until the precise moment she'd leave her house and smoke right outside my door, just to catch a glimpse of her passing by. The way she would smile at me never failed to make my day. That smile was my one and only treasure. After watching her car disappear behind a building, I made my way over to my computer. I pushed the stained bowls and empty cups to the other side of the desk. I made sure to devote some time to her every day. Today was my day off, so I had more free time to give her. I'd spend hours scrolling through her social media pages, reading every comment. The people fawning over her used to upset me, but I've since come to my senses. None of them had the connection we did. They didn't know her scent, her nightly routine, the way she carried herself when she thought I wasn't looking. All the things I learned from simply observing her, watching her. I couldn't keep my eyes off of her. After a while, I glanced at the clock in the bottom left corner of my monitor. I had let time slip my mind while I was busy with Mia. Most of the day had passed, and I found myself incredibly hungry. I pushed myself away from my desk, the cold metal of the chair's legs scraping against the hardwood floor. As I walked towards the kitchen, I glanced towards the window. The light spilled in from behind the curtain. It was faint and dimming, a blend of pink and purple hues. It reminded me of Mia. I made my way to the window, pulling the curtain back just enough so I could peer outside. Cars dotted the parking lot, and the sun was setting behind the city skyline. The forest in front of the apartment building rustled as the trees swayed gently in the evening wind. As I scanned my eyes across the base of the trees, I could be sworn I saw a long, tall figure. It looked like the trunk of a completely different tree that didn't fit in with the surrounding forest. I leaned closer against my window, my forehead lightly pressing against the glass. Then I blinked, and it was gone. I rubbed my eyes before taking a second glance. Nothing was there. Not much happened over the next few days. Sometimes when I came home from work, I'd see Mia. She was eternally beautiful, even when she was just going about her everyday life. I always made sure to smile and wave any time I saw her. When she would forget to close her curtains, I'd pass a glance into her apartment. It was the small things she'd do that made me love her. Most nights, when I watched the new videos she posted, I'd pause the video and stare into her eyes as she applied her mascara. One day, I'd be able to tell her that she didn't need all of that makeup to look beautiful. She was like other girls. Her natural beauty was all she'd ever need. After watching her videos for a few hours, I realized how hungry I was when my stomach began to ache. I got up and walked over to my fridge. There were a few cans of beer left, some loose ketchup packets, and a plate of cold spaghetti. I grabbed the plate and stuck it in the microwave. The light clicked off as it began to spin. As I stared into it, I noticed a slight reflection in the black mirror. I could see my pale face in that reflection. The bags under my eyes were deep, my hair greasy and tangled like a rat's nest. To avoid wallowing in self-hatred, I averted my eyes from the reflection of my face and instead looked at the mirrored reflection of my apartment. It was pretty open. I was never really comfortable with money. My eyes landed on something. My bedroom door was ajar. I squinted at it, trying to remember if I had or hadn't shut the door all the way. I don't know how I didn't notice it at first, but staring back at me through the crack was a gigantic eyeball, slightly obscured in the darkness. Before I could get a better look at it, beep, beep, beep. The light in the microwave clicked back on, and the reflection blinked out of sight. I quickly turned to face the door, and it was gone. My heart was racing, but my head quickly rationalized the situation. Despite that, the creeping feeling didn't disappear. I quickly ate my food, turned off what little lights were on, and headed to bed. Grabbing my door handle, I couldn't help but feel uneasy. I pushed that feeling deep down and opened the door. The room was empty. After scanning my barren room, I let out an unconscious sigh of relief. I didn't know what I expected, but I was glad that nothing seemed inherently off. I got in bed, set my phone to charge, and lay there in the dark. My room had no windows, so if the lights were off, it would be pitch black. It didn't take long to fall asleep, especially when thinking about Mia. Even the thought of her brought me enough comfort to lull me to sleep. My back began to ache, a feeling I knew all too well from when I lived on the streets. I was sleeping on the ground. I hesitantly opened my eyes. I was staring at the sky, an endless sea of blue with no clouds in sight. My hands felt the ground beneath me. It was bumpy, warm, and sticky. I swear I could almost feel it pulsating. I slowly sat up, and the most intense feeling of dread washed over me. It was a feeling I could never describe. The ground was an endless, stretching sheet of exposed flesh, like skin turned inside out. Lanky, flesh-like stalks grew out of the ground. They looked like trees stripped of their leaves and branches. A shallow, breathy wind made them sway slightly. I slowly got up, my clothes sticking to the tacky red substance that was oozing out of the flesh beneath me. It stuck to my feet as I walked towards one of the stalks with all the grace of a newborn deer. It was